Alright, hello everybody, this is Piteio from the QuickStarter team and the tool support team from the 9th age. And in this video I wanted to show you how to play the QuickStarter for free on UniversalBattle. This video is subtitled, so make sure you activate subtitles in hopefully one of the languages that you speak. So let's have a look. I am assuming that you are familiar with the 9th age. The QuickStarter is the simple entry-level product for the 9th age with simplified rules. And the QuickStarter works in a variety of ways. The simplest way in which this works is with a set of pre-made armies. And I'm going to show you how to play the sample armies for the QuickStarter in UniversalBattle. I'm assuming that you have no knowledge otherwise of UniversalBattle, so let's download and install it. You go to UniversalBattle 2.com, probably forgot an I here. And you get to the UniversalBattle website, you choose the version that you want to download. I'm going to download this one here. Let us save this thing. And once the download is finished, you can take this archive, put it on your desktop, unpack it here. You're gonna get your, oops, what is happening? You're gonna get your folder, and in your folder you're gonna have your operating system folder, subfolder, and then you have UniversalBattle here, the executable file. You double click on the file and the program launches. Good thing is to set this to full screen. You can choose your language, and if you don't have an account, you can do all the gaming with no problems using the guest mode here. Of course, it's better if you have an account, because you can interact with people on the forums and ask for help. They're gonna recognize you, but you know, you can do everything for free in guest mode for the moment being. So let's click on guest mode here. And as you see here, you access the lobby, where you can see people who are actually in the lobby at the moment. You can chat with them. There's a way of communicating with people. This is the list of the people who are actually here. And then you have some rooms here in this big frame. And in these rooms, people are playing games. There's also a list of the models which have recently been created by users down here, and you have the option to buy a pro account with very many nice extra features, but what we're interested in now is to create a match, so getting the thing started. You can set a name, a password if you like. You hit on continue, and here you have your field. Once again, you have a log to the left where you can chat with your friends, or where you see the rolls of dice that have been performed. Then you have, of course, the field in the middle here, and at the bottom you have this bar with some button and options. We're going to start by pressing this button here, which is the one that lets you add a unit. Okay, so you click on this button here. And the first thing that you have to do is to make sure that you're using the army that I have designed for you to play the QuickStarter on UniversalBattle. So you go on Change Army, you scroll the list down here, and you select the army that's called Veil of the Ages, like my channel. Okay? You select this one, make sure to treat it as a preferred one. You cannot do it if you're a guest. If you want to register, go on and press yes, but I'm not going to do this for the purpose of this video here. So let's play with this army, and the idea is that if you want to place a model, like for example a hierarch from the Undying Dynasties, you select the hierarch, you place it, and here you have it in the middle there. It's very small. It's tiny, but you know, you can always zoom with your mouse or keyboard, and then you can select this model. And what's interesting is that in this army that I have prepared for you, you can click on the info button and you're gonna get all of the profiles and the special rules that are associated with this model. So this is very, very practical for beginners, but also, like, you know, for people who are used to the fantasy battle game. At the moment, this is in Italian, but if things go well, if I get the support that I need, I will try and ask Lorenzo, the creator of UniversalBattle, to please upload, you know, more comprehensive version in English. Let's see how that goes. Anyway, this is for placing a model on the battlefield. Now, another thing that you have to immediately do is to set the dimension of your battlefield. You can click on this button here with this little tree, and for the QuickStarter, we use a width of 48 and a length of 36. We are playing horizontally, so with one army to the left and one army to the right, so that we are maximizing the use of screen space. All right, so let's imagine that we want to play a game between the Undying Dynasties and another army. As you see here, there's somebody who has joined in the room and then has left because, yeah, I mean, there's only one dude in the middle of a field. Not that interesting. But you can have people visit your games and, like, you know, meet new players as you go. So what was I saying? Yeah, let's prepare a game between Undying Dynasties and another army. So the first thing that you would do is to charge the list of the units that you play with these two different armies. So you have this little drawing here of a scroll. You place the scroll here, you select it, you go on the info button, and you see what is it that you're supposed to field. So 1 hierarch, 16 archers, 15 Acropolis guards, and 3 Shaptis. So let's do just that. We also have the information on how wide the units are supposed to be. So we have our hierarch, which is below the token, so we move it here. And now let's add 8 columns and 2 rows of archers. Here they go. Let's move them up here. Then let's add 15 necro guards in 5 by 3. I have to buy myself a better mouse. Alright, here you go, this one here. And last thing are 3 Shaptis, right? So 1 row, 3 columns. Place it. Here we go. Alright, very good. So, now, let's say that we want to place this character inside of this unit so that it can move along with them. We just move it up here, and then, as you see, there's this chain button that you can select, and then activate the unit that you want to move your character along with. Okay? Really practical. Good. Another thing that's practical is that you can see that these models, the Necropolis guards, for example, they also have their profile, and in their profile you have all of the characteristics, but you also have the special rules. And for these special rules, I also prepared some small tokens that tell you what undead is about. So you can select the undead token here, and you can look up its info, and you can see that it cannot flee as a reaction from a charge, cannot march if it's not within 12 inches from a general, automatically passes panic checks, and automatically passes break tests, but loses 1 health point for each point by which it lost the combat. So really practical. And once again, you can link these objects to the unit so that you move them together. Of course, the same applies for the sorcerer and the hierarch. The hierarch has spells like for example the touch to the heart here, or the danse macabre. Okay, so let's look up for the danse macabre spell. It is here, should be recognizable. I mean, these are drawings that I made. It's nothing too crazy, but you know, it might look like a danse macabre thingy. We link this to the unit here, and you can select the spell token, go on info and see the casting value and the effect. All of the friendly units within 6 inches can perform a magical move by 6. That's it, right? So in this way we have loaded our army for the Undying Dynasties. Now let's load another army, and we don't have, of course, all of the factions available here. We only have a few of them because we're still running polls and deciding together with you what units should be put here. So let's use the Warriors of the Dark Gods. And if I look up the Warriors of the Dark Gods in the little scroll that tells you what the army is made of, I see that I have 1 sorcerer, 10 warriors on 5 wide, 5 barbarian horsemen, and 1 war chariot. Chariot of warriors, warriors, chariots, I don't know, not sure. The sorcerer, here it is. Then the 10 warriors, here we go. Then the 5 barbarian horsemen, here we go, and the chariot, only 1. Cool. Once again, we can take the sorcerer and place it in the unit here with the warriors, link it to them so that they move together, and as we said before, for units like chariots, which have special rules, you can check what the special rules are. What is the special rule that chariots have? It's impact hits. So let's look up if we find the impact hits units. Yeah, looks like, you know, a chariot seen from the side. We cannot link it here because this is a single model, so it doesn't work all the time. This is the kind of thing that Lorenzo might think about, you know, upgrading for us if we show him enough love by using the software. Anyway, end of the promo speech. Alright. By the way, I'm in no way associated with any profits that Universal Battle makes. I'm just a huge The Ninth Age fan, just like you, so there's nothing out there for me. I just really like the system, and I'm going to show you why, because now we can put some terrain to make this battlefield a bit more animated. So let's move these things around a bit, and for terrain you still use the units that I have prepared for you. You can choose terrain from here. You see, you have a wide range of possibilities for terrain that Universal Battle gives you. But when you play the QuickStarter, everything is, like, you know, simplified and kind of a no-brainer. We want people to start playing, that's it. So the idea is that you can choose a hill, for example, and place the hill, right? You can move it here, you can rotate it a little bit. You can, oh snap, I didn't want to open that software. Anyway, no reading emails while making YouTube videos. Then we're going to place a hill over here, sorry, a forest, in the sense of, snap, in the sense of difficult terrain. Place it over there. We're going to put some impassable terrain over here, for example, small house. And what else? We're going to put something else. Let's place some more difficult terrain, like a fence. Yeah, let's put a fence here. And just for extra annoyance, this is really an ugly field, but let's put a statue. Impassable terrain. Just, you know, to move up things a bit. Now, of course, terrain pieces have their own rules, and I have prepared markers with rules for terrain pieces as well. For example, impassable terrain. This is a case of impassable terrain. You put it there, and you select it, and it tells you that it blocks line of sight and the movement is impossible. Same thing for, I don't know, the difficult terrain with the information about how to make the dangerous terrain tests, right? So now that we have prepared the field, we can start the deployment of our units. And to do this, it's really simple. You just select one of these meters from the tools here, and you select the 24 inches meter. You rotate it to 90 degrees, and you know that one faction should deploy to the left of it, and the other faction has to deploy to the right of it. So let's do something really simple, like without even thinking about any sort of strategy here. Just doing it really quickly to show you how you can move your units and rotate them on the spot. We don't need the lists anymore. We don't need the lists anymore. And we can, yeah, do our placement for our other army. Here, rotate that as well. Yep, bit more space. I'm putting too much energy into this operation. I just wanted to show you very briefly how things work, but yeah, you get the some sort of mildly obsessive compulsive activity here. What can I say? Then you don't need the ruler anymore. You can remove it, and here you go. Actually, there is one final thing that I want to show you before, you know, letting you play with all of this, and it's something that I prepared for making it easier to follow the flow of the game without having to go looking at the rules every time. This is supposed to be useful, especially for new players, right? So I want you to start with this hourglass. I call it hourglass. It's not a hourglass, I know, but you know, who cares? You can place it here, a bit to the side, and if you zoom in and look what it's about, you can see that it tells you number of turns from the outside, the first player and the second player in the turn, and then in the inside you have the different phases. So you have charge, movement, magic, shooting, and combat. And of course, if you click on it and get the info, you get the sequence for the flow of the game itself. So positioning the terrain, determine who's the first player, who's gonna choose the deployment side, who's gonna deploy, the opponent deploys, and then the first player plays the first game, and then you have the sequence of the turn here. Now, this is more practical to use if you have, let's put this thing here now, if you use some sort of markers, like for example these symbols here. I don't know, let's use this purple thing. This is quite big, is it not? A bit too large. Let's try and find something smaller from in here. Yeah, yellow thingy, cool, that's better. So you can place two yellow stars up here, and you can see, for example, that you are in turn 1 from player 1 in the charge phase. Okay, so as you're playing, you say, okay, I don't declare any charge, let's go to the movement phase, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is a way of, like, you know, always knowing where you are in the game. Now we are in the magic phase, and that's it. And this is also very practical if you want to do battle reports with screenshots from UniversalBattle. You don't need to rename things. And I use Windows, so I just do print screen and the Windows key, and it automatically saves it. So it's really a no-brainer to make battle reports if you use this feature here. Now, as I said, there are several phases. So, you know, for example, I've put some extra information here. This is in case you don't remember the to-hit table. You can put the to-hit table, and you have it here, offense minus defense, and from -9 to -8, you hit on a 6+, for example. Same thing for a number of other fun things, like, for example, the flux cards. And you can select this. We have 6 flux cards in the QuickStarter, and if you want to know what they are, here they go, just on the information. And once again, if you like, you can put another small type of icon here, like, I don't know, a blue star. Once I roll a 3 for my magic phase in the first turn, I'm gonna put the star over there so that I know that I cannot reroll it once again. Alright? That's it. This is more or less the setup of the game. Then it's only a matter of using UniversalBattle to actually play the game. So let's imagine very quickly that I'm starting with the Warriors of the Dark Gods and play just a movement phase. Okay, just to give you an idea. I don't do anything in my charge phase, I go to the movement phase, and I want to move this Barbarian Horseman forward, so I can zoom on them to bond with the guys a bit. Getting the info, they have a march value of 16 inches, and this means that I can move them more or less 16 inches maximum forward. Something that's really useful is this line of sight fan that gives you an idea of the line of sight of the unit and also the inches that it might move. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is violet, so 12, and so 18, right? So we know that the barbarians can get more or less up to here, okay, a bit after the forest. And in order to move the barbarian, something that's really practical is to use this feature here, which is blocking the movement of objects on the 2 axes. The idea is that if you don't have this selected, you can move things diagonally, like this, okay? That's very freely. But that's not how you want to move units. You want to move units, in a straight line, like this. Notice how UniversalBattle tells you how far you moved, and it writes it here to the left in the chat, so everything is really clear. Even if you don't have your opponent in front of you, you know exactly what your opponent is doing. So you can move the barbarians here, and then you can select this button to do conversions, for example, in one direction or in the other. Okay? So you can make your conversion by, I don't know, your wheeling, sorry, by 2, conversione in Italian. So you've moved by 7 and 2, it's 9, then you move some more toward the front. Let's go up to 13. I'm making a very useless movement here. And then up to my march of 16, I can move 3 more. And I'm doing this, right? So this is more or less how you do a movement phase. Now let's imagine, let's just march forward 8 inches with this guy. All right, here you go. That's the march movement. And just because it's so nice, let's do a magic phase. So what you have to do in the magic phase is to roll for the flux cards. So you can roll one die with 6 faces, 6 sides. You get a 3. Oh gosh, look at that. Clairvoyance powers. I had already marked the 3 up here by chance before. Let's look at what 3 means. It means that the active player has 6 dice and the reactive player has 3 dice. So let's look at what it is that our sorcerer here can cast. The sorcerer can cast Corruption of Tin and Marked for Doom, I guess that's the translation. So let's have a look at Marked for Doom. must be here somewhere. Somebody who has a mark on their forehead, right? Marked with omega, the letter of the end of life, whatever. I'm just taking time so I can position this thing here. So what does marked for doom do? Casting value 8, enemy unit within 18 inches suffers 2 hits with strength 10 and armor penetration 10. So a unit within 18 inches. Who's within 18 inches? Very simple question to answer. You select your sorcerer and with the button selected for the line of sight, and then you count. First violet is 6, 12, 18. Let's have a look at that. Very nice. The Necropolis Guard is within 18. You see, it's within the purple line. So I can cast the spell against the Necropolis Guard. I decided I want to use 3 dice because the casting value is 8. I have 6 dice. I roll and I do 1, 2, and 3. Summed up, it's a 6, which means that I failed the casting value. That's really me. That's really, yeah, very typical of me. Good. Anyway. Alright, so this gives you an overview of the movement phase, of the magic phase. We don't have a shooting phase for the Warriors of the Dark Gods. We are distributing complexity across different armies in the QuickStarter starter lists. But let's move to very quickly fast forward to the first turn of the Undying Dynasties and the shooting phase, so that I can show you how to do some shooting with the archers here. So archers have a 24 inches bow, which hits on a 5+ with no modifiers, and with strength 3. Okay? So I want to shoot at, well, you guessed it, at the Barbarian Horsemen, which are 14 inches away from me. And this means that I can roll an amount of 15 dice and see whether I manage to hit the Barbarian Horsemen. I roll this and I see, oh wow, lots of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5 5s and 3 6s, which by the way are nicely summarized for you here. If you need a 5+, it's 8 of them. Cool. So now I have to roll 8 to wound rolls, and I have to have a look at the strength of my bow, which is 3, and at the resilience of my barbarians, which is 3, and I can look up the table for the to wound roll, in case I don't remember that to wound means strength minus resistance, and if it's a 0 it means 4+, right, as you have it here. So I go back to my 8 rolls that have already hit. I roll them, I look for 4+ to wound, and I make 2, right? And now it's the moment to make an armor test. And yeah, the way I suggest that armor tests are made is that the attacker rolls for a piercing roll. You have armor 3, so I have to roll higher than that to pierce your armor. Okay? So I have 2 rolls and I'm looking for stuff that's higher than a 3, so let's go with 4+. 1 wounds and 1 doesn't. Okay? So how do you remove a casualty here? You select a dude and you click on the trash bin. Yes, done. Goodbye. Okay? So that's more or less a quick overview. We're not going to go into combat. This is relatively straightforward for somebody who knows how to play the 9th Age, but probably I'll make a separate video on how to contribute to the playtesting of these sample lists that we have put together for the QuickStarter. And I'll also show you some nice advanced features for pro users, like the one that allows you to save your game and, you know, to load a map and to load your army with your rules in one click, instead of positioning each unit one by one as we did today. And also probably if I get the chance, I'm going to show you how to use the model editor to create models that look a bit better than the ones I did for the moment being. Alright, so thank you for watching, and if you have comments, feel free to contact us on the9thage.com. There's also the Italian subforum, italia.the9thage.com, and we are very active and we are answering all sorts of questions on the QuickStarter. And by the way, we are choosing the lists like this one here with the community right now, so follow the discussion, join the polls, and you know, have fun on the forum. All right, thank you, and until the next video, bye.